Okay, I'm here with Austin from Machine Gun Armory up in Salt Lake City, Utah. Austin is the Chief Operating Officer, and they've done some pretty unique stuff with your saw, which is gaining quite a bit of acceptance internationally, and we'd like to see if we can get that same level of acceptance domestically. Austin, you're going to take us through this weapon system, right? So take it away.
Right, so what we've got here is one of our newer products. It's called the Saw K. So K is because it's shorter. It's for Kurtz, kind of like MP5K. So what we did is we started with a standard M249 receiver, and we thought, how could we make it shorter without losing too much parts interchangeability? So what we ended up doing is we chopped about 3 inches out of the receiver forward of the trunnion right here, shortened the barrel by a corresponding 3 inches so the gas block would sit right where it needs to. We chopped the front of the gas block off to allow you to flush mount a suppressor up to the gas block, because normally there's a part that protrudes out right here. We also shortened the barrel up front. So the barrel length right here is 9.75 inches, and this is a 300 blackout configuration. So by removing all that material, it shaved off a pretty significant amount of weight. We were able to get the weight of the system from 17 pounds down to about 11 pounds bare bones without accessories. We've also made some pretty significant changes just to give it better handling and ergonomics. The rail system on this one is quite a bit different than the standard military rail systems that most people are used to. So if you look at it from the front, you can see that it's a lot thinner. Now, the old school rail systems, the big problems with those were how wide they were, and that was to accommodate a couple of vehicle mounts out there where you needed that wide rail to mount accessories and actually have it in the cradle. So the issue with that is that not everybody likes to use a vertical grip like this one. Some people like to be able to just grip the fore end of the weapon. So with that rail system being as big as it is, you just can't do that unless you have giant hands. So most people with normal size hands, they had to use a vertical grip. And we really think that people should be able to shoot the weapon however they feel most comfortable. And so we slimmed it down quite a bit. So now if you've got smaller hands, if you're a female saw gunner, whatever the reason may be, you can actually hold the weapon as you're accustomed to. Another thing we've done that you'll notice over here at the back is we have a completely different buttstock on it. Most people would recognize this as an M4 type buttstock. This specific one is the LWRC Ultra Compact buttstock. It's the one that they put on their little 6.8 UCIW carbine. So this one's about 2 inches shorter, and the reason we went with this is because we also have a folding stock adapter on here that's about 2 inches long. So with a 2 inch shorter buttstock, we're able to keep the overall length, overall length of pull the same as if it would be with a regular M4 style buttstock. And so obviously the added benefit is you can fold the stock over. The stock placement is also a little bit different on the old saw stocks, like the Savit M4 looking ones and the clubfoot solid stocks. Your face would sit quite a bit lower, and the buttstock itself would also be lower. So what we've done is we've actually put the buttstock up in line with the bore where it should be. So when the weapon recoils, it recoils straight back into your shoulder instead of up and over your shoulder. So your recoil impulse is straight back. With the old style stock, your recoil impulse is going to be up. And so obviously straight back is better than up because you're able to stay on both close and further targets without any of the muzzle rise that you would normally see. The recoil on this one is also substantially less than you would see on a standard M249. Everybody that we've ever had shoot it has always commented on how easy it is to control and how it just doesn't make sense to them that a platform this small and so light is so controllable.
Yeah, I can second the motion on that. After firing the weapon, I was really impressed by how light the recoil is. Very, very manageable. There's absolutely no muzzle rise whatsoever, at least that I could experience. And it was just very controllable. Very controllable. You guys did a great job of that. Go ahead.
Right, and with subsonic 300 blackout, it's even more controllable because you're shooting such a low pressure round. So another thing that we did that's specific to 300 blackout is we redesigned the barrel to be able to cycle 300 blackout both suppressed and unsuppressed subsonic and supersonic. And the way we did that is by tapping into the gas pressure further back in the barrel. Because as you can see, the gas block is right here, and you have a little over an inch of dwell time for your recoil system to get pressurized. So what we did is we drilled our gas port further back about 1.5 inches in front of the chamber, and there's a sleeve that runs along the bottom of the barrel, and obviously it's got a channel inside that directs the gas further up and into the gas port right here. So that way, with the 300 blackout round subsonic, you're looking at about 1200 psi, somewhere in that neighborhood of pressure up where the gas block would be. Now with 5.56, you've got several times that much. That's closer to 7,000 or 8,000 psi right around here, maybe even a bit more. Don't quote me on those numbers. But by drilling the gas port further back here, we're able to tap into the pressure of where it's actually enough to cycle the op group. So with 300 blackout subsonic, you can actually take the suppressor off and the gun will function just like it had the suppressor, because it doesn't need all the extra pressure that you would normally get from having a can on it.
Now, as I understand it, your plan is to offer this the weapon to law enforcement and military globally, chambered in either a 5.56, 300 blackout, 7.62 by 39. Anything else besides that?
Right, so our receivers are all multi-caliber. You can shoot 5.56, 300 blackout, 6.8, 7.62 by 51, 260 Remington, and we are also doing 5.45 by 39 and 7.62 by 39.
Very good, very good. So, if I'm correct, countries that were normally, firing PPKs or whatever would be ideal candidates for that product, right?
Exactly. We had an end user make the specific request for something that could use enemy ammunition sources. And so with something like this set up in 7.62 by 39, if you have to go into a country and not leave a NATO presence, you can go in, have a platform that you're familiar with, that you know exactly how it works,
right?
But you can use an RPD build. And the added bonus to that is if you find yourself in a real bad situation, you can resupply off the enemy.
That's outstanding. Very good. Anything else you'd like to communicate to our viewers, our readers here?
I think that just about covers it for the platform.
If I were going to buy one, how much would I pay for it? Quantity.
Let's see.
Quantity one.
Quantity one, it would be right about 12.5.
12.5.
Right, and obviously, the more people buy, the better the deal they're going to get.
Sure,
so
sure.
Once you start talking significant numbers, that's when you start to see big price drops.
Well, listen, this is, I think, this is a marked improvement over your traditional saw, without a doubt. You guys have done an outstanding job, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to fire the weapon and to get some education on it. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you.